Let's listen in to what they have to say.
Following the second and last day of the European Council, and hopefully the last EU summit of this year, it has been the 12th. First, I invite Donald Tusk, President of the European Council, to take the floor. Please, sir.
Thank you, Preben. This morning we had a serious political discussion about completing economic and monetary union. The ECB President Mario Draghi also joined us and stressed the need for progress. We have one clear message from our debate. There is no time for complacency in reforming the Eurozone. We stand ready to take difficult decisions on banking union and economic governance in the coming year. Our ministers will work rapidly and report to us next June. We congratulated President Hollande on the historic success of COP21 in Paris and assessed progress on building the energy union. We discussed the conditions that need to be met by major energy infrastructure projects. What we agreed is that any new infrastructure should be fully in line with the energy union objectives, such as reduction of energy dependency and diversification of suppliers, sources and routes. Not to mention the obvious obligation that all projects have to comply with all EU laws, including the third energy package. This is a clear condition for receiving support from the EU institutions or any member state, be it political, legal or financial. I cannot finish without a word of appreciation for Prime Minister Bettel and his team. Xavier, I think I can speak for all leaders when I say that the Luxembourg presidency was outstanding, with very hard work done on the migration crisis, PNR and data protection. It was an extremely efficient presidency. Thank you, Xavier, and most sincere congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And now Jean-Claude Juncker, President of the European Commission.
Oui, bonjour, messieurs, dames.
Good afternoon, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, he's saying. This brings us to the end of a year which has been full, too full of events. And it is with a certain degree of relief that the majority of prime ministers have left Brussels. Now, this morning, like yesterday, we've done good work. I can tell you this morning that the Commission has adopted positive opinions on visa liberalization for Georgia, Kosovo and the Ukraine. I saw the Ukrainian Prime Minister on December the 7th. Donald and I had a mini-summit with the President Poroshenko on Wednesday evening, and we removed the final obstacles to a positive opinion from the Commission on visa liberalization for Ukraine. Consequently, the Commission was able to make a proposal to Council this morning on taking rapid decisions on visa liberalization for the three countries I just mentioned. We briefly discussed this morning issues relating to EU. There's nothing new to report. Work is going on in Council, ECOFIN and Eurogroup, and this work will continue in the months ahead. And the Dutch presidency. I too would like to take this opportunity of paying tribute to the Luxembourg presidency. It was a great success from many points of view. I particularly appreciated their commitment when it came to organizing debates on the refugee crisis, often in very difficult circumstances. But that wasn't their only achievement. They managed to get an agreement on member states and institutions on the PNR. I mean, that was an enormous achievement, because we've been working on that for many years in this area of data protection. So, Xavier, You, your ministers, your staff have done an excellent job of work, and I'd like to congratulate you once again on that.
President of the Rotating Council of the European Union.
Alors, tout d'abord, je tiens à remercier le président Tusk et
First of all, I want to thank President Tusk
pour les mots
and
élogieux
Juncker
qu'ils ont eus pour
for their words of praise
permettez-moi de
that they've had for my team.
récipiendaire aujourd'hui de ces compliments.
Yesterday,
Et une équipe qui a
I was on the
travaillé,
receiving end of the kind compliments, but I have to forward those to my team who work 24/7,
et permettez-moi
and I'm very proud of
alors
them.
que la présidence luxembourgeoise va s'achever d'ici quelques
So the Luxembourg presidency is drawing to an end.
des travaux qui ont été faits sous notre présidence.
Let me just take stock of what we've been able to do under our presidency. Our presidency was marked
Et sans précédent de la crise
by an unprecedented
les attentats terroristes
and serious
Paris le 13 novembre.
deterioration of the migration situation, the terrorist attacks in Paris.
Travaux et ont requis
And those two events had a considerable impact on our work and required us to
au
be
niveau
rapidly able to respond
poussés à répondre
and come up with answers that we were able to
extraordinaire
deal with the unprecedented challenges.
pour répondre à
There were a number of extraordinary council meetings specifically to meet those challenges. We worked on emergency measures to deal with the migration crisis,
du phénomène pour développer.
looking at the root causes
Nous avons veillé à préserver
and trying to put in place
Schengen et il est
a
indispensable
sustainable strategy.
de renforcer les contrôles aux frontières.
We talked about the need of protecting the Schengen area
Travail à faire, on en est tous
and stepping
conscients.
up border controls. We've still got a lot of work to do, a lot of work to be done. Hotspots have to be completed,
Et la question
relocations have to be speeded up,
de manière déterminée.
and the question of returns has to be addressed in a determined fashion.
Au niveau sur
The
la
presidency can be in the high-level conference on the Eastern Mediterranean, Western Balkans route,
une meilleure collaboration
which again made it possible for us to put in place greater cooperation,
le sommet de la Valette
particularly with Turkey, Jordan and Lebanon. The Valletta summit made it possible for us to look at the migratory crisis with the African colleagues of ours to find a solution
de Paris, la présidence luxembourgeoise a travaillé sur
which will bring in all the parties concerned.
bien défini.
After the Paris attacks, the Luxembourg presidency worked on a number of priorities, such as the PNR question, which was finally approved, the exchange of information, more systematic use of information, combating radicalization, and cooperation with third countries.
Qui ont marqué notre agenda et qui ont fortement marqué l'Europe. La
Despite the events
a aussi fait
that both
avancer,
our
des
presidency
travaux dans les
and
différents
Europe as a whole had,
et a
we've also been able to make progress in a number of other areas.
travail articulé autour de grandes priorités qu'elle s'était fixées.
We've worked on the main priorities that we had identified in our program.
Qu'un accord
A
politique.
European Union for
Nous
citizens.
avons fait l'échange de documents qu'un accord
Yesterday,
trouvé sur la proposition d'accord
We had an extension of documents
intitulé Mieux légiférer et qui a
for an institutional agreement on better legislation.
de négociations difficiles
After 3 months of negotiations, which were difficult but always conducted in a cooperative spirit, we managed to get agreements, and that will have a beneficial impact on the way that which the European institutions work
Notre présidence a fait
and our interests of our European citizens,
des mesures visant à
which are the people we have to work for.
croissance et l'emploi.
We've also tried to free up investment and growth through employment.
Et elle a lancé le
We've put in place innovative working methods, and we've started the competitiveness
de mieux
check
faire le suivi des grandes
mechanism,
évolutions dans l'économie
which should be possible for us, the Council, to keep tabs on the economy so that measures can be quickly taken. We've also agreed on a package of measures to promote competitiveness in the European steel sector. Over the last 6 months, the presidency has also worked to deepen the social dimension, which, together with the Commission, we have tried to make Europe a triple-A social area. We've had discussions on the social dimension.
de l'Union et surtout de la zone euro. Rendre sa dynamique aussi au marché intérieur.
We also wanted to make the internal market more dynamic, to focus on the digital single market. This is something that's very important for us in the Luxembourg presidency. We issued the digital single market strategy.
Le paquet protection
And there are two things I'd like to refer to here. The data protection package we agreed on this week,
sur la
and last week the joint strategy on cyber security,
Nous avons
which will now be
la
transformed into
européenne dans un cadre
directive.
global et transparent dans le domaine de la lutte
We
contre
also wanted to pursue this European strategy on combating fiscal fraud.
en octobre un
I
accord
welcome the fact that we had an agreement in October on an exchange of information directive
en matière de lutte contre l'érosion de la base
on fiscal
d'imposition
rulings.
et le transfert de bénéfices au sein de l'OCDE
This is also
finalisé et le Conseil a adopté en décembre
a transfer of
des conclusions
profits,
importantes concernant l'initiative dite BEPS. Cela constitue
an
aussi un
initiative
effort
taken
de
up in
l'Union
the
concernant la mise en
OECD.
œuvre des recommandations.
This was an important issue for us,
Concernant le TTIP, la présidence a amplement
an important
été
point
engagée
for
dans la
the Luxembourg
modernisation du
presidency.
mécanisme de règlement
We're
des
committed
différents
to
investisseurs
modernising the
et a entamé
state
un dialogue qui est
investment
important à nos yeux, celui avec les partenaires
dispute
sociaux, et nous avions
mechanism,
organisé
and I think that's something that's very
ici à
important.
Bruxelles une réunion
We
avec
had a meeting with the social partners here in the past couple of weeks,
cette discussion et cet échange qui est très important.
representatives of the employers and employees,
Promu une démarche du
to
développement
promote an
durable,
exchange of points of views,
en accélérant la
which
transition
is very
vers une
important and
économie
helpful.
verte, à faible émission de gaz à effet de serre et en coordination parfaite. Je dois vous le dire, avec la présidence française de la COP 21, nous avons
These talks are all perfectly organised in conjunction with the French presidency,
ici une ambition
making it possible for us finally in COP21 for Europe to reach an innovative and historic agreement. And we all congratulated the French
et je suis content qu'on ait trouvé des solutions.
on the results of the COP21.
Moi, je tiens à remercier
It was a meeting we had to make a success, and we did.
pour l'excellente
So
coopération
I would like to
au cours de ces
congratulate
à leurs équipes, que ce soit
everyone involved
aussi celle du Conseil
and the
européen,
cooperation we've been able to enjoy,
la Commission,
thanks to the teams of the Parliament, the Council and the Commission,
tous fait le
the
maximum
Council of
possible
Ministers. Everybody
aux défis
has worked flat out to meet the challenges
qui me tient
that we've had in front of us. One last point I'd like to make, which is important to me. I believe this Luxembourg presidency has shown that the rotating presidency system that's been put in place can work well. A country like mine is able to assume its responsibilities to push Europe forward,
Merci.
even in difficult
I now
times.
open the floor for your